श्योर श्योर सर, मैं ऑफिस में
So good afternoon, everyone. A warm welcome on behalf of IIT Delhi Alumni Association. We will be starting the session in another few minutes. Satish ji, can you make Professor Vivek Kumar as panelist?
Doing.
Yeah.
Hello, Dr. Smita Chuk. How are you?
I'm fine.
Good to see
Welcome,
you.
Dr. Smita. Welcome, ma'am.
Hello, Gitanjali. Lovely to see you.
Before the session starts, I thought I should say hello to you.
Okay,
Thanks for joining us.
Am I audible, sir?
I really like this. Thank you, Gitanjali, for thinking of me. Thank you.
Welcome, Dr. Rawat. Professor Vivek Kumar.
Good afternoon, Samita ji.
Good afternoon, Gitanjali ji, and very good afternoon, Shukla ji.
Good
Good
afternoon.
afternoon to all the panelists, jury,
Rawat.
and my colleagues here.
So, Mr. Madan.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'll introduce the keynote speaker. I'll introduce the jury members, and then
good.
I'll hand it over to you. Yeah.
Perfect.
Fine,
Yeah.
yeah. Okay. Yeah.
You reduced my work.
No, you will be evaluating actually the ideas of the students. Yes.
Okay.
So I think in the interest of time, we can start.
Yes.
Okay. So good afternoon, everyone. I once again welcome you all to Gramodaya 2022. And it is our pleasure to have this event in association with Center for Rural Development and Technology, IIT Delhi, Unnat Bharat Abhiyan, and CSIR NISTADS. So we are very pleased that right now we are having our second session on water resources. And the keynote address will be given by Dr. Smita Chuk. And we have esteemed panelists and evaluators, Dr. Shiv Singh Rawat from Irrigation Department, Government of Haryana, Professor Vivek Kumar ji from Center for Rural Development and Technology, IIT Delhi. We have Dr. Kapil Sharma from NIT Delhi, and Mr. Asif Mujtaba from Department of Civil Engineering, IIT Delhi. And the moderator for this session is Mr. Narinder Madan, fellow EC member, IIT Delhi Alumni Association. So warm welcome to everyone. And now without delaying, I would request Dr. Smita Chuk to deliver the keynote address. Dr. Smita Chuk ji graduated from IIT Delhi in 1979, and she is a 10-pointer. In 1980, she joined the Indian Administrative Services. She retired in 2018 in the rank and pay of Secretary to the Government of India and Chief Secretary, Government of Jharkhand. Her experience spans working on various facets of rural India, both at the grassroots level and at policy-making level. She has recorded her experience in her book Sojourn in the Soul of India, which is catalogued in the Library of Science. Smita ji's passion for technology interventions in rural areas motivated her to take study leave to rejoin her alma mater in CRDT for doctorate in 2007. And she's worked on bamboo. She is also alumna of Harvard Kennedy School and National Defense System. So a very, very renowned expert, scientist, technocrat, an IS officer. She's worked in all the domains. So we are extremely honored to have your presence, Dr. Smita Chugh. So ma'am, please share the keynote address, please.
It's such a joy to be here in this session. And this topic, redefining the paradigm of development, and then identifying the challenges and finding sustainable solutions, and then coming up with the innovative ideas. Oh, it touched my heart. And it's that IIT Delhi is doing so much to reach out to the rural people. And I wish either this scheme had come when I was in IIT Delhi, or I would have been born later.
We all wish the same. You're not the only one.
And in the morning, the
Opportunities are so
introductory
much
session, when I
easier.
was listening to the presentation of a professor who's coordinating, I really was thinking really amazing work being done by IIT Delhi, and it's such a joy. So what I would like to cover here is that when I joined from the IES, you see, I was a from IIT Delhi, and I felt कि now अब तो मैं बहुत सारा technology changes or interventions field में कर दूंगी एकदम, and there will be no difficulty at all. So I was going with great determination. Yes, now this is my this thing I will do, and I have so many professors to back upon and everything, and I can do this. But when I reached the field and I started working there, I found that the issues of technology interventions are not just technological, but they are also sociological, they are psychological, and many things which you would like to do. This thing has to factor into account all these three things: sociology, psychology, and technology. So when I joined CRDT as a PhD student, so I used to share these things. I did my PhD from CRDT, so I used to share these things and with my fellow colleagues, including Gitanjali, and they told me, why don't you write it down? And then I wrote as emails to my colleagues, and that was collated into a book, and it came out as my maiden attempt. This is Sojourn. And this has been catalogued. I was very surprised because we made no attempt to sell it. It was only for our colleagues. And suddenly I find that Library of Congress has placed orders for it, and it has reached the Library of Congress. So I felt very honored that it was picked up by Library of Congress. So the sociological issue, in my very first posting, what we were building check dams. I'll give you examples. I'll give you stories and tell you the different things. So we were building check dams. So suddenly these tribal boys, it was in a remote tribal area where nobody would venture in. The first letter I got on reaching there, you will be reduced by 6 inches from the top by the next slides. So, but I used to go to the rural area, and people used to think, what is this type of SDM who's not scared and who's going to the rural area? And that made the tribal people very open to coming to my office also. And they asked, one of these boys came and he said, these check dams which you are making, they break every season, and then every season you make it. Why don't you look at the check dams which we make? It lasts for 50 years. So I went and saw those check dams. Yes, they were made with local material, and they arranged the stones in such a fashion, a little bit of filters, most of it is retained, and it really suitable for the ecology and with all the local material. So now that was not part of any standard estimate. It was not in any engineering textbook also. So my engineers were in a fix how to get it replicated. So I said, do reverse engineering, just build an estimate from what they have done. And then we standardize that estimate, and then we send it across, and then we build check dams like that all over. So that was my first lesson in understanding rural wisdom, that most of these interventions can be handled very easily. We cannot be handled till we grant that rural wisdom. But then in a later, and then also the ownership comes from them, because when the ownership comes from them, they think it's their idea. They are able to be able to participate in that. Then you implement better. Government of India later on adopted a participatory approach in many things, and they had a PRA technique, and they had Gram Sabhas in Nerega also, and Nerega, a lot of these things. So we were all going for this participatory thing. But later on, this rural wisdom has to be dovetailed with the larger wisdom available with the technological institutions and with larger areas. This I realized, because one fine day, one person came to me and he said, this check dam, which has been built under MNREGA, these engineers have made money. It doesn't function, and it doesn't deliver the goods. So I went to the check dam, I got it examined. It was as per the estimate, there was no problems. But then what I discovered was that they had not factored into account the contours. They had picked up the location of the check dams using on the basis of the dynamics of the village, and where the location will be, who will be benefited, whose land will be taken by the check dam, and who will get the benefit of check dam. So all these factors were interplaying in the village. And so they had picked up the location there, and they had clearly forgotten about the contours. That how the water will come and how the water will go, and where it will go, and whether it will give that benefit or not. They've just clearly forgotten about that. My father was Surveyor General of India, and I had very, very good knowledge of contours. In fact, these contours is such an important thing. When I went to see the road, there was a complaint on the roads also, that this road is badly constructed. Then I discovered that the road's alignment was also not as per the contour, as a result of which the water from the side was coming and cutting the road, and there was no fault in the construction as such. So in flood, in the other area where is excess water, I was posted in a place called Khagaria. It has 6 rivers. Todarmal, while mapping the land for Akbar, had said, Farakia, this cannot yield any revenue. So this will be away out of the revenue records. And from Farakia, the name came Khagaria. So it had 6 rivers and meandering rivers, and where only dacoits used to go in unburdened horses. And they had posted a lady district magistrate there. So and there was perennial floods. So, but I studied the contours. I realized that the roads were blocking the free flow of land. And if you provide a passage with a proper tubes and canals there, then flood will not come into the town, because in the Gazette, which reports the history of the district, it is supposed to be the upland, and the rest was all just water. So study of contours for water management, I realized, was a very, very important thing, which gets overlooked when we are looking this thing. So there are sociological issues, as I said, there were sociological issues, psychological issues, and technological issues. So we have to dovetail all these things. We cannot go, we have to provide a balance between all these things. Another thing which I had discovered during my thing, of course, I'll give the example from may not be only water, from other areas also, because learning is universal. It is not that you learn only through water, this thing, and this is a section on water, so I should focus only on water. Whatever we learn from any other intervention that which can be applied generally, I thought I'll note it down for sharing here. So when we were teaching science, for instance, to the children, I realized that what is important is the method of teaching science. And that method of teaching science applies to everywhere. When we are working with the rural people also, when they think that 4 things we have to see: keen observation, critical thinking, problem solving, and creativity. For instance, if water flows, how does the water flow? Is it always flowing level? It is going up, it is down. That is the keen observation. Then critical thinking, on what circumstances it is going up, what circumstances going down, what you see. And then from there, the problem solving, how you go for watershed management and creativity, hand pumps, etc. All these things. So these method of thinking being implemented in our school while teaching science, and these children will later on, and they were so adept at it that they started pointing out many facets when we were bringing technology interventions in in the rural areas. Another thing which I noticed is habit patterns. Many things can be taught if they are not imbibed in the habit of a person, then even if you, with the best of intention, best of understanding, then it is not later on, it is not sustained. For instance, government had a scheme of earthen smokeless chulha. So instead of having one pot, one place, they're having two this thing, and in one they would put the firewood, and from there the draught will go through the chimney to the other and go into this thing. So I built it got it built under my own supervision, and the villagers themselves explained to me how advantageous it was and how it was preventing this thing. And when after a month they said, when I went there, they had all dismantled it, because they said our hand goes only to the location of the chula where this thing. So we cannot handle it like this. And they had converted the chimneys which I had given into drain pipes, which they required. So they had not misused the thing. It was very much there, but they converted. Another thing which I noticed was these livelihood, this thing you have to see, notice, take into factor that I noticed in biogas, for instance. Most of the biogases in my district were failures, because they were big biogas. The dung was required to be handled by laborers. They didn't want to hire the laborers. And the criteria was the number of tackles you have, and accordingly they'll give the biogas. And the person who will benefit is the big landlords, and they will have, they really don't require that electricity or that gas. They have other alternate means also, and they don't cook themselves. So there I found that people who handle dung, even if they don't have any cow, if I give them biogas in whatever little this thing, they manage to get dung. They are able to put the labor there. They manage to sell this slurry for livelihood, and they are able to light the village, use the lighting of the biogas and all the chula. In fact, my husband was the district magistrate when I was a DDC in that district, and he was invited to on a particular village, and he thought it was a rural electrification program. And there he found it was all these biogases, chulas lit, and they wanted to show him, you see what a wonderful transformation these biogases have done. So these are the little things on sociological, psychological. So there are endless number of these things which I recorded at the request of Gitanjali and her colleagues in this book. And I've passed on the PDF to Gitanjali, and she can share with you whatever portions she likes best conveniently. So what I was wondering, whether even now these issues are relevant or not relevant. So there was a colleague of mine got Mr. Siddharth Tripathi, who's the Chief Conservator of Forests in Jharkhand. And he used to take out weekends and visit villages. Initially he had failures and then succeeded. What he realized was that what you need is to invest time with the villagers, then gain confidence with them. And now, what his initiative has been upscaled by through a scheme of government, which started as a private initiative, had been upscaled by government of Jharkhand, and 60 villages in 2 years have become totally poverty free. I think IIT Delhi or CRDT can send a team there and have a look at what he's doing in the villages of remote tribal.
Surely, I think, ma'am, that's a very good suggestion. And while we will go to him, but we would request that you also stay connected with us because the issues that you have highlighted, they are very, very interesting, because technology its creation is different, and then how it is executed in the field, how successful it has to be. It's an altogether different experience, and you've shared your experience in this field from energy also, water resources and everything. So I think it's very useful. And you also highlighted how for the students that it's very important observation, critical thinking, and then problem solving, and then the habits part that they should be looking at. So thank you so much, ma'am, for your address. It's always wonderful to hear from someone who has worked at the field. So thank you so much, ma'am. So now, yeah, so I will now request Professor Vivek Kumar from CRDT IIT Delhi for his introductory remarks. Professor Vivek Kumar?
Yeah, thank you, Gitanjali ji. And first of all, it was...
Sir, I would like to give a 1 minute very brief introduction of yours.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, Professor Vivek. Yeah. So,
you want to give my introduction?
Yeah, just a minute for the students who are with us today. Yeah,
correct.
Yeah, so Professor Vivek Kumar has his BE degree in Pulp and Paper Engineering and ME degree in Chemical Engineering with specialization in Industrial Pollution Abatement. He completed his PhD in 2000 from IIT Delhi, Waste Management for Small Scale Pulp and Paper Industry. After that, he has his postdoctoral from Germany, and he's been involved in teaching and research both at IIT Roorkee and IIT Delhi since 2004. He also has been visiting a research professor, Department of Chemical Engineering and Applied Chemistry, University of Toronto, Canada. And he has more than 18 years of research and development and academics experience on the development of low-cost technologies for the treatment of waste from medium and small-scale industries. He's the recipient of numerous awards and is with several committees. So warm welcome, Professor Vivek Kumar. He also is the co-coordinator for Unnat Bharat Abhiyan. Warm welcome, sir. And please give your address for the students and all of us.
Thank you, Gitanjali ji. And first of all, my thanks towards Smita ji, and I assure you that so we have just recently started rural internship program in IIT Delhi, so we could not implement it because of the corona, but soon, I think in 2020, so not only CRDT students but BTech students of IIT Delhi. So thanks once again to Alumni Association. So 1993 batch actually has donated some seed fund for this program. So BTech students, so we assure you that we will take some BTech students as well as our PhD students from CRDT to to the places under your mentorship. And we all know you and we all know your work, and in CRDT we always welcome experienced people like you, and it was pleasant. It was a pleasure to hear you. I'm also very thankful to IIT Delhi Alumni Association for for this synergy between Alumni Association and Unnat Bharat Abhiyan, CRDT, and NISPER. So I'm sure that the topic which you have decided, that redefining the paradigm of development, surely it will fetch this synergistic effect, will surely fetch desirable effect on our policy and planning because of the outreach, the kind of outreach Alumni Association has got NISPAR has got, and Unnat Bharat Abhiyan has got. So currently, for example, Unnat Bharat Abhiyan has a network of more than 3,000, around 3,000, approximately 3,000 institutions. I also welcome my fellow jury members, and then office bearers of, I can see Kalpin Shuklaji, and Mr. Madan is also there, who is the moderator of the session. I welcome all my fellow jury members, Mr. Rawat, Mr. S.S. Rawat from Department of Irrigation, Haryana. So I had been interacting with him for a while. Then Dr. Kapil Kumar, NIT Delhi, and then Mr. Who is the other? Yeah, Asif Ji. So Asif Ji from EC. Right. So, friends, today globally, if we look at the water issue, we are implementing. After implementing so many regional and national level water projects, we have realized that instead of supply augmentation, there is a need to solve the puzzle of water resource sustainability. You know, our water management practices so far are driven by supply augmentation approach. These technocentric policies, you know, these have resulted into engineered solutions like dam and transfer schemes, and this has led to energy nexus, which actually favors influencers. So we all know that. So influential beneficiaries are always at the favored side, and it has resulted into energized groundwater abstraction. And now we all are looking at the the dark side of that, right? So there is a lack of systemic perspective, which has resulted into broader spatial and temporal negative externalities. And some of these negative externalities, I believe, and most of you understand that they have far-reaching consequences, and they will be affecting the availability of water for our future generations. We have completely neglected, in fact, the linking ecosystem services when we talk about water. And our myopia is up to that extent that when we calculate basic water requirement, Mr. Rawat is with us. So we all know that when we calculate basic water requirement, just 1% is assumed for the ecosystem services, and 99% we take it for the human needs. So that kind of imbalance we propose. Now it is a high time that we have to look for integrated water resource management approach, which considers water budget, the total water which is available in that watershed at the watershed level, and plan the basic water requirement according to this budget, and then according to that the economic activities, plausible economic activity in the watershed to be decided. Not only the objective of sustainable water management have to looked upon based on sectoral approach, like we have to look at the water management from urban perspective, rural perspective, then ecosystem perspective. Within rural, we have to go for agriculture perspective. However, it is most important to look at the solution of these challenges from the watershed perspective. So this is the high time, and I believe that I have seen some of the entries which have been sent to us. So many of our students or participants today, they must be talking about these kind of solutions. And I'm sure I've been interacting with various students, in our UBA activities through AICT. So this new generation is completely aware of the sustainable issues, sustainable challenges, and surely this new generation will be coming up with innovative for that. I ideally for inviting today to member this occasion. Thank you. Thank you, Gitanjali ji.
Thank you so much, Professor Vivek Kumar. Thank you so much. And I hope that you can stay for some more presentations. Thank you so much.
Yeah,
Thank
I
you so
will be
much.
staying. for
Thank you
some
so
time.
much, Professor Vivek Kumar. And now I am quickly inviting Dr. Shiv Singh Rawat, Superintending Engineer, Irrigation and Water Resources Department, Government of Haryana. Dr. Rawat happens to be our alumnus. So after graduating as civil engineering engineer from NIT Kurukshetra, he completed his MTech in highways from PEC Chandigarh and joined the government's service. And he has his PhD thesis focused on modeling of river Yamuna, water resources, canals and crops of Haryana with a work experience of more than 29 years. Dr. Rawat, apart from being an honest and diligent government officer, has done tremendous work for the community at the rural level under the aegis of different associations and organizations. So warm welcome, Dr. Rawat. And I understand that you have a meeting with the Chief Minister. So please, very quickly, your remarks, please.
Thank you, Dr. Gitanjali. Good afternoon to all the panelists and Madam Smita. I am very thankful to the IIT Delhi Alumni Association and CRDT for giving me an opportunity to talk on the subject which is to the core of my heart. As Madam has already said I am doing, other than my official jobs, I am doing a lot of social work. Mr. Kalpen and all the IIT alumni people know it. So water is from my heart, and village, if we go to the statement of our Mahatma Gandhi ji, Gram Swaraj. So I am very happy that CRDT and IITD has done a tremendous job by organizing this conclave on Gramodaya. So if we are talking about the model villages, the government is focusing on the model cities, but this concept of model villages and smart villages will definitely help in overall development of the country, and water resources will be the main component for agriculture production in India as far as India is concerned. And we have a lot of challenges in the water sector. There is a demand and supply gap. And so government is also taking many steps to bridge this gap. Recently, Atal Bhujal Yojana has been started in almost 10 states of country, so that the water resources can be properly managed, stored, and then it can help in recharging, and so that the groundwater is ultimately not going down. So with these words, I say best of luck to all the the people who are presenting their ideas on this water resources topic, and all the best to all of them. And again, thanks a lot to IIT Delhi Alumni Association and the CRDT, and particularly Mr. Kalpen and Dr. Gitanjali. Thank you very much. I have to leave for an urgent flood meeting of the Honorable CM. Please excuse me. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Dr. Rawat. I'm sure you'll be associated with our future initiatives as well. Thank you so much. And with these words, I'll hand over to the moderator of this session. We have Mr. Narinder Madan, IITD alum, and our EC member. He is moderating this session. And we also have Mr. Asif from the IIT Delhi Alumni Association, who will be a jury member for this session. So, Mr. Madan, you can please take over the charge.
Thank you very much, Gitanjali, and good afternoon to everybody, especially to Smita ji for giving a keynote address for this session, and to Dr. Vivek Kumar and Dr. Kamil Kumar. Unfortunately, we can understand the work pressure is so much these days that it's difficult to take out time for such seminar, especially now. In any case, water is something without which probably the life doesn't exist here. There are three essential needs for the human being to sustain life, and that is air, food, and water. Of course, air comes the first, because if we don't have air for a few minutes, you probably will be dead here. Then comes the water, and then comes the food. You can probably still live few more days without food, but you can't live without water. We all know almost 70% of our body is also nothing but water. The water is used for three major activities of human beings here. One is agriculture, the second is industrial, and the third is for the domestic use here. In our case, in our country particularly, the maximum water which is used is for the agricultural purposes, and then comes the industrial purposes, and then comes for the domestic use here. You will all agree that the need of water is directly proportional, if you let me use the mathematical term, to the population of a country here. Because all activities, whether the need for food, which is agriculture, that way you need more water for the agriculture. You're doing more industrial activities, you need more water. So it is directly proportional. As the population increases, the need for the water increases here. But it is strange. Somebody has rightly said, water, water everywhere, but not a drop to drink. And one of the reasons for that is, we all know almost 70% of the Earth's surface is covered with water. In terms of quantity, it's almost 1,400 million cubic meters. I mean, it's very difficult for us to imagine even how many zeros will be there after 144. But the unfortunate part of it is that 97.5% of it is seawater, which you cannot use it directly. And the balance is only fresh water. And this fresh water is also not so easily available to us here. The 69% of this fresh water is locked up in the ice caps, which are there either on the mountain tops or on the north or south poles. And 30% of this is, we have the underground water, which we are using it very rapidly in certain states, which really causing a big problem here, because recharging of these underground water is becoming a major issue in almost all the states here. Water on the surface for the rainy use is probably less than even 1% here. And if you further analyze it, the 87% of this water is stored in lakes, 11% is stored in swamps, and only 2% of this water is available in the form of rivers here. It's not today the issue is not about the availability of the water. It is there, the water is available, but it's in terms of it's getting the right quantity and the quality, which is causing a major problems here.
Narendraji?
Yeah.
Can we start the presentations now?
Sure. If there is a shortage of work, I just wanted, before I complete this, I think the area which really needs to be looked in future, especially because this is a technical session, is not only getting the new resources like rain harvesting, alternative, developing technology for recycling of water, particularly for the industrial use. And the third, which I feel is the most important, is developing method, technology for conserving water for agricultural and domestic applications here. I think with that, I'll complete my talk. And now we switch over to the presentations here. So the first presentation is a young kid. It is Shantanu Dafre, who happens to be from a school. She's just about the 10th standard. I'm really amazed that people at that age, well, probably at our time, we were just only playing marbles. These kids are today looking at issues which are facing this country here. So I now invite Shantanu, who is going to talk about some oil slick sucking boat project here. So it's all over to you, Shantanu.
Am I audible?
I hope she's there because I told all these participants to be connected prior to 2 o'clock.
Yes, I am there. Hope I'm audible.
Yeah. There he is. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, can I present the screen?
Yeah, please go ahead.
Yeah. Good morning. Good afternoon, everyone. This is Shantanu Rafre from School of Scholars, Nagpur. Yeah. So today I'm going to present my innovation, that is oil sucking boat. Yeah. My mentor for the program, Dr. Prashant Kadu sir. Okay. So let's start with the introduction of the project. So as the title itself suggests about the model, it is a boat which helps in sucking the oil through oil spills which happen during let's say in the marine water bodies or during a normal lakes also. So basically this model will help to fulfill the goal 6 of the SDG, that is to ensure availability and sustainable management of water and sanitation for all. So when we say sustainable management, so this project would remove the oil from the water bodies. So this could basically help to get a clean sanitation. So the basic material which we are using to suck the oil is the polycarbonate sheet, the polycarbonate material, which is also present in the CDs. So it is a somewhere cost-effective material present in homes, which is a waste use, so can be used. So let's see for the definition. To define the oil sucking boat, it is a man-made machine good which needs a man to operate, fulfilling the need to clean oil through spills of marine water bodies. So this project will definitely contribute to making water bodies clean, especially the marine water bodies where spills happen, especially through the ships. Now let's see the working of the project. How does it works? As per we have done through the proof of concept, this is the working of the project. So basically it is a 3-step process. When as we start with the boat, as it starts through the motors attached at its corners, it starts rotating and it has polycarbonate sheet attached to it. So as it rotates, it has the property to collect, like the oil sticks directly to the polycarbon. After that, after it is still rotating. So the main task is to collect the oil, right? So there is no purpose if we just keep the oil and do nothing with it. So basically it collects it. After that, we have the tanks attached at the backside connected with the polycarbon. So basically it is the oil is collected. After that, after the oil is collected, basically sometimes it would be a mixture of many oils, or maybe sometimes it is a single one. So we can filter it and further use as a normal use. Now, whatever the proof of concept, we have constructed the construction of it. So first we made a boat of using acrylic sheet. Then 2 motors are attached at 2 sides of the boat and attach CDs or polycarbons to it. Then after that, the boat is the tanks are attached at the backside for as earlier told during the working, just to collect the oil stuck. And after that, it is collected and we have collected the oil and we can further use it. Now the main part of an innovation is its beneficiaries or the customers to whom it would benefit. So this project would basically not benefit particular people or someone. It would benefit the society as a whole. Like also further, after we go forward this innovation, we have decided to install a garbage collector to it also. So basically, a single boat can manage to clean the garbage also, and also to clean the oil spills. So, and also the event named as Gramodaya, I had focused, it could also benefit the people who live nearby to the water bodies. So they would be more benefited. Now, the value proposition. The cost of my model cannot be particularly said, as it depends on place to place and spill to spill. So where it is less, the cost would be less, and where it is more, the cost would go more. So the basic materials required for my project are a boat made of acrylic sheet, electrical equipment such as motors, RC controllers, and the basic equipment, and the polycarbonate sheet as required. Now, also, a single man can operate this boat, and after we get through the process of the working of the project, we can use the oil for further uses after filtration, which would also help us to get the oil and which is wasted through spills. That's it from my side. Thank you for patient listening.
Thank you, Shantanu. I have a question to you. You said that you're going to use polycarbonate for sucking the oil. But then how do you, after you suck the oil, how it gets transferred to the, because you need to either squeeze it or use some other methods to take out the oil so that the polycarbonate can be reused.
Yeah. So this was a challenge we faced actually. So something focusing on this, what we did is the tanks are a bit connected to it some sort. Let's say a bit connected in the sense that when it rotates, so basically the oil is sticking to it. So after it is rotating, so it comes in contact a bit with also with the tank. So that by that way it can go to it. So we have practically performed this, and it is quite possible with the oil to get into the tank.
Okay. You have tried it, as you mentioned, you have tried it somewhere else. Which place did you try it out?
The trying in the sense we have made the proof of concept actually.
But not done anything practically at the moment. Yeah.
No, sir.
Okay, fine. Anybody else has any questions from the panelists?
Yeah, Madanji. Yeah, Vivek this side.
Yes, Vivek, please go ahead.
Yeah. So, do you have any video of proof of concept? Because I just want to extend
Yes,
the
sir,
question
I do have.
Madanji asked.
Yes, I do have a proof, like video.
What is the separation process? Water and oil separation process.
So basically, it is not separation. Actually, the oil gets stick to the polycarbon or the CD, compact disc. So it is somewhere not where it does not. The oil only gets stick. The water is as it is. It is unaffected.
So polycarbonate has got some affinity to the oil. That is what you
Yes,
want to
sir.
say?
Actually, yes, we have performed that through the CDs. Also, we have tried with, and also the polycarbonate sheet which is present. That also we have tried with.
See, Shantanu,
But then it has to be a
once
surface phenomena. Once the surface is exhausted or saturated, then what? Then what will happen then?
Once again, please repeat your question.
So this oil will be sticking to the surface of polycarbonate sheet, isn't it?
Yes, right, sir. Right.
Okay. So do you have any video? Where do you?
Yeah.
Where
Yes,
can
sir,
you show
I
this
do
proof
have
of
it.
concept?
I do.
Very small video.
Yes, sir.
If Madanji,
So 1
it is
minute,
permitted, then
1 minute
can we
video.
see the
yeah,
video?
yeah. I think so. Let him show it. I think we have
Yeah.
we do have time.
Please.
Should I show?
Yeah, please go ahead.
Just a minute. Yes, is my screen visible once more?
Yeah.
So I've started with the video, if you can see. I'll skip to forward a bit. So just a minute. Okay, stop share. So there was some interruption.
Okay, what you can do is, Shashantu, you can keep it ready. Maybe we can see it later on if it is not
Okay.
working at the moment. So we will
Yes.
go ahead with the second presentation. I call upon Boyer Deb Ramana. Boyer Deb Ramana.
Yes, sir. Good afternoon, sir.
Good afternoon. Deb Ramana is from the National Institute of Technology, Agartala. And he will be talking about innovation, fabrication of low-cost lining in the water storage facilities here. So, Boyer, it's all yours. Please go ahead with your presentation.
Okay, sir. Can you see the screen, sir?
Oh, we can't see anything.
Can you see the screen, sir?
Now we can see the screen. That's right.
Okay. First of all, good afternoon, all the jury members, respected sir and ma'ams. My name is Boyer, and I'm from National Institute of Technology, Agartala. Currently, I'm pursuing in final year under Civil Department. I met Dr. Mishra, Professor, Department of Civil Engineering from NIT Agartala. So in this presentation on Ideation 2022, my idea is innovative fabrication of low-cost lining in the water shortage facilities for rural areas using multi-layer policies. So let's talk about the introduction. As we know, nowadays people are facing high to extreme water stresses, and it is due to the misuse of groundwater, mismanagement of water bodies, and increasing of river water pollution. It's because of due to allowing the industrial and urban pollutant to follow over the rivers, and also the lack of water recycling, no clever uses, and the wastage of water. As we know, India is the highest user of groundwater in world, filling 85% of the rural demand and only capturing 8% of the rainwater. People, including women in the rural area, have to travel long distance multiple times to fetch water because of unavailability of shortage facility in their homes, as they don't have money to purchase high cost, bigger water tanks. Similarly, rainwater can be harvested, but its storage is not possible. To overcome the growing water shortage and on-site water shortage for its suitable use by individual families, this innovative project was thought to be considered as a key concept of water saving. Identification of my project. To conserve water from the groundwater and the rainwater in the rural areas using low-cost multi-layer polythene sheets for water storage. Hence, it will be the following advantages: reducing the consumption as well as the collection of groundwater, increase the volume of water bodies, prevention of overuse of groundwater. So what is the definition of my idea? So let us talk. The objective of this idea's vision is to move from where we are today to where we need to be, meet future water needs and ensure sustainable use of water. This exercise involves a process of study, consultation, promotion, which will develop knowledge at rural levels, produce consensus on vision for water, raise awareness on water issue among the population and decision makers, and the development help move from the concept in vision to tangible result. People like water. If in this project, who are the beneficiary going to get the facilities? So the beneficiaries are village people, slum dwellers, poor people, people who are residing in the stress area, people who unable to purchase the big tank. Also, this UBT project is useful for the town people who reside in the town. If they have an open area or a place, they can use or they can implement this idea in the open place to save the rainwater. Since it is economical, this can be used as alternative water storage throughout the year, by which the frequency of collection from the nearby tube well, and it will reduce the groundwater. This method can be implemented through the Gram Sabha, convincing the people through Gramukhya. The proof of concept implementation. Description of innovation of the project. So in a project, as the proof of implementation, let's see. As the polypon liner, the figure will be shown afterwards, is very costly. It is planned used as 2 to 3 layers of low-cost polythene sheets are joined by sandwiching plastic wires. All the figure has been shown below. And an innovative glow which can be laid on the request shapes to produce different water shortage structure in customized manner. Production of super glow. In my project, I use super glow. For making this super glow, I have collected 100 to 200 ml petrol, which costs 10 to 20 rupees, and the thermocol, which are available in our surrounding. After mixing thermocol and petrol, we can get a super glow, which work after 18 to 24 hours. Innovative plastic bottle cutter to dry plastic wires. In this project, I use the plastic water bottle wires which are available in our surrounding. For that, I made a plastic bottle cutter with the help of using one wooden block and with a cutter blade which did the plastic wire bundles. All the figure has been shown below. Fabrication of plastic sheets with water tank and iron grill. By using two techniques, I have prepared a flowing manner. One iron grill frame was fabricated and tied using a plastic wire, which is made from the waste plastic bottles. And in this project, as the equivalent to the pond liner pond, also a water trap can be fitted to use the water. This can keep the proof of the expected life to 2 years if the water tank to test under shadow. Fabrication a bamboo bracket frame to case plastic sheets water tank. A bamboo bracket frame which can replace the iron grill, and polythene sheet can be inserted using the same procedure which can be used as water tank at a higher elevation, shown as figure below. And last is digging and lining a small pond. As we can see, a small pond can be done in any place by giving a same type of poly lining which can store water with a capacity more than 2,000 liters. Let's see the picture. So the proof in innovative ideas. Figure 1 explains it's a geomembrane polythene, and figure 2 explain the combination of petrol and thermal chemical reaction which give the super glow. And in the figure 3A, it represents the collection of bottle. Figure number 3B it represents the shape of the bottle, and in figure C it represents the cutting of bottles with the plastic bottle cutter with the wooden block which can be used with the blade. And in figure D, it represents the wires made from plastic bottles. And in figure 4A, it represents the tie of plastic wire on the grill. Afterwards, after tying the wire on the iron grill, we replace it over the plastic sheets. Afterwards, in figure 4, C and D, it represents the soap water. And in figure 5, it represents a bamboo fabricated bracket, which can be used for storing rain water in the village area. And in figure number 6, it represents the small canal, which can be used to restore water by using the multi-layer polythene sheets. The value proposition and the market impact business revenue model, the calculation of the material. So you can see the fabrication of plastic sheets, water tank within iron grill. So here you can see the plastic sheets per kg, which are available in the normal market or in online per kg, which costs 75 rupee per kg. So if you take 4 kg, it 300. So super glue like the collection of thermocol which are available in our surrounding, and the petrol which you can buy from the market, which cost maybe 30 rupees. It may vary. So the plastic wire, which is the plastic bottle which are available in our surrounding, is collected freely, and the iron grill, grill, which costs 90 rupees per kg. We have taken 4 kg in our project to show the example. So cost 360. So then, this type of project can be finished within 700 to 800. It may vary. 100 rupees, maybe 50 rupees. So let's talk about the bamboo fabrication bracket frame using the plastic sheets. A bamboo bracket frame which can replace the iron grills and the protein sheet can incase the using the same procedure, which can cost 600 rupees, and the water capacity would be 1200. So in the market, big water tank, you can say syntax, it would be 1,000 to 12,000. But in this project or in this idea, we can make the good innovative ideas in the rural area for the development of water shortage, which everybody can afford and everybody can see in their home. So let's talk about the digging and the lining of the small pond calculation of water tank capacity. So, for showing this innovative purposes, I have taken the height 2 feet and the width it was 4 feet and the length was 9 feet. So then the total capacity of the tank would be 2038 liters. In comparison to 2000 liters syntax, it's more economical and easy to use. The pond can be constructed in the backward of residential house. The price of the labor, it may be 250, including the labor costs. So what this maybe we implement also. Some of the challenges particularly faced during the implementing of this idea. So one, water cap in a polythene sheet is not safe to water. Maybe because of some time project is implemented on the open area, or maybe leaves may come and fall in the water tank. Second, plastic polythene may get damaged in the high temperature, which may cause water leakage. As with this high temperature, then our polythene sheet will may get damaged. Number 3, when there will be heavy rain, it may wash away. Because of heavy load of water, it may wash away. To overcome these challenges, we must put the polythene sheet in such a place where the polythene must be environmentally safe, should be placed with proper position, and area should be clean, which can be done in raised bamboo frame. Conclusion: decreasing the level of water ground causing the several environmental challenges of our surrounding. One of the challenges is the water scarcity in rural areas. We must find alternative way to save water or increase the rate of harvesting of water. Individual, organization, and the government need increased awareness to educate the people in rural areas on the downside of groundwater. We may not be able to implement the idea entirely at once. However, through the awareness, we can implement it to make sustainable, innovative way harvest rainwater. Thank you, sir.
Thank you, Boyer. I have a question to you.
Yes, sir.
You are comparing the construction of a tank for storing
Yes, sir.
water vis-a-vis the syntax which is available in the market. Am I right?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
But I'm not able to understand that. How do you connect this thing to the saving of the groundwater?
Actually, sir, my project is based on the rural areas. So I have seen during my project session, women are traveling a multiple distance for collecting of water. So as a result, in the village, most of the people, they are not getting water because of high altitude of the hills. And if we come to the plain area, the groundwater may be available because of lower altitude. So I have seen in the higher altitude, the groundwater level is lesser than the plain area. So why I compare these things? Because if we harvest the rainwater in the hill area, it would save the groundwater and it would be available for the villager people for the water. So in this connection, I have mentioned in my project as if we use the rain harvesting water, it would be safe. But this is not applicable for the might be or may not be applicable for the plain area, but it is mostly and likely applicable for the hill area. As in my project session, I have incurred all these things.
Yeah, but Boyer, what you're comparing is it's a storage tank vis-a-vis, as I said, syntax.
Yes.
I don't see the making a tank by yourself is really going to be very helpful in reducing the cost of storage of water. It will still remain the same. See, you need to fetch it water, you need to still bring it and fill up this tank, isn't it?
Yes, sir.
If I have a syntax, the rainwater can also be stored in that. I mean,
Yes.
there is no, I mean, I don't see any specific advantage over it. Anybody else has any questions? Doctor?
Yeah, Madanji, if I can ask some one or two
Doctor,
questions.
please.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Sure.
Yeah, Gaur, I think what Professor Madan is saying, that it seems to be a project related to waste recycling rather than water conservation.
Yes, sir.
Because what you were showing that you will be making some polymer granules from waste thermocol and waste PET bottles,
Yes, sir.
isn't it?
Yes, sir.
So my question now is that why do you think that this polymer is better than the current polymer which are being used in syntax tank? Or you mentioned about the lining. So currently we are using LDP lining in water ponds, water conservation ponds. So why do you think it is better to?
Sir, actually.
Yeah.
Sir,
Okay.
actually.
Go ahead.
Yes, Boyd, go ahead with your answer.
Okay, sir, actually, this project has been made for the rural areas. So in the rural areas, mostly indigenous people or maybe tribal people are very poor, which can afford to buy a big syntax. So for them, we have created this idea so that they can store water for their uses purposes for the drinking, bathing, and everything. So like if we compare to the normal situation of the storing of water, it's a negligible. But for the development of the village, which can afford to buy a big syntax or the big utensil for the storing of water, we have innovated this idea to implement in the village so that they can get something helpful in this way.
But tell me how you will be making this tank or sheet. So first step is okay. So you will be converting thermocol or PET into some new, some recycled granules. But then how to convert these granules into sheet or let's say a tank?
Okay, sir. Actually,
at village level. At village level, talking about.
Okay. So first of all, like we need we have recycled this plastic bottle into the wires. So if we have iron grills into the column, then we will tie this plastic wire into a frame. So afterwards, like we will place one plastic sheets, that polythene over the, below the iron grill. So over that plastic wire frame, we'll apply this glue. After applying this glue again, we'll put another plastic sheet polythene. After 18 to 24 hours, it will be tied and this glue will dry up. So it will be very strong and it will be very strong and very difficult to remove afterwards. So in this way, it will hardened plastic. Okay, sir.
Boyer, I have one more question to you.
Okay, sir.
This is regarding, see, once you start storing the water, have you thought about that? If you store it for a longer period, if there's any germination of bacteria, how long can you store it without it getting contaminated with the bacteria? Because I'm not sure. Syntax, of course, these people, they claim that, okay, you can store it for a long period, but I don't know with using a poly sheets, whether we can store it for a long time without it getting contaminated by bacteria?
Yes, sir. Actually, sir, this polythene sheet has advantage and disadvantage. Like advantage, it's a non-biodegradable in the environment. But since it's not resistant to any this bacteria or germination of any kind of microorganism, so this polythene sheet will last maybe up to 1 month, 2 months if there is no germination, or there is no fungi available in the water, or if it is a clean water. But if it is like if it is a place or set up in the near the dirty place, or maybe in the shadow place, there might be germination of a bacteria or something like that. But in such cases, this polythene can be cleaned and can be reused once again. And also we can clean this water by using chlorine or something like that, sir.
Right. Thank you, Boyer. Anybody else has a question, or shall we move on to the next presenter? Okay. Now I call upon Shiba Shaita from a student of Institute of Technology, Hyderabad, to make her presentation along with Mohammad Sohail on solar water purifier.
Good afternoon, sir. Good afternoon, everyone. Good afternoon, jury members present here, and also the fellow mates who have joined the meeting right now. Sir, can I share my screen?
Of course.
Is it visible, sir?
Yes, it is visible.
Okay, one second. Good afternoon, one and all. We are the students of Hyderabad Institute of Technology and Management, Hyderabad, Telangana. And our project idea is a solar water purifier. The faculty advisor is Mr. Santosh Naik, sir. He's from mechanical department, and the team members are Mohammad Sohail, Gangavarapu Ramya, Pavni, and Deepti. As you all know that about 70% of the earth is covered with water, and 80% of global diseases are waterborne diseases. It is a huge demand of accessible and affordable drinking water for all. As we all know that industrial waste, sewage, plastic waste, and deforestation are some of the most important and efficient factors that causes water pollution. And along with that, on average, we have 1 lakh people die each every year from waterborne diseases in India alone. We have a design ideation in our institutions at what we finalize a project, a proper solution with the problem-based learning. We'll first identify the problem which the community is facing. Then we'll have a specific development for the project identification. And then we will specify the conceptual design for the proposed solution, which we have taken from the problem statement. And then we'll be designing a proper design, and then in detailing what exactly our design needs to be. And then we'll deliver it to the service maintenance. And along with this is the efforts that we promote design ideation and also the problem-based learning in our at our institution. The main basic problem statement that we have identified is there is a village called Basuraguda village at Mestil district. It is an UBA adopted village from our institution. There we have visited, and we came to know that the water of the lake was not useful and in any manner, and was even causing a foul smell, and it was not fit for drinking. And due to the waste which were dumping into the lake, and the water was being so contaminated was not fit for drinking at all. And the community out there in Basuraguda village were facing so much of problem with no clean water. It was giving a foul smell from the water as the dumping waste was being more into the lake. And the people out there, the community people out in Basiraguda village, they have no other resources, so they have to rely on private water suppliers for drinking purposes, and they don't have any permanent connection of the purified water, as they have some GHMC waters, but still the water from the lake is not being that good for them. So they are relying on private water suppliers for drinking purposes. And the second main and important cause of water pollution I want to highlight here is water pollution usually causes when substance realized into it adversely affect the water. Many people die every day from consuming polluted and infected water, as it is being abuse of lake, ponds, ocean, rivers, and reservoirs. Once polluted, it remains unusable for decades, even thousands of years. The troubles which are facing by the people have been mentioned as due to the dumpage of the elements or the waste into the water. It's being so difficult to the people out there at community. They couldn't clean it by their own, or if they are cleaning, the waste is getting more and more by dumping into the lakes. The drawbacks of cleaning the water or the uncleaned water is cost. It is waste of time, energy consumption, and effectiveness. These were some drawbacks that a clean water will acquire of. And the existing solutions that are present into the market, and also which are very much expensive when compared to the ideation that we are included in our project, is the existing solutions we have into the market is ultrafiltration method, electrodialysis method, and reverse osmosis method. I just want to give a glance on what exactly ultrafiltration method is about. It is a variety of membrane filtration which focuses like pressure or concentration gradients to separate through a semi-permeable membrane. And UF filtration is applied in cross flow and dead flow mode of the water management. And also this ultrafiltration method is only used for removal of bacteria. When it comes to the electrodialysis method, it is a method based on the concept of water purification. This technology splits hydrogen and oxygen gas, killing pathogens at the same time. And it gives a byproduct, and it creates a purified water. And also this electrodialysis method has a drawback where it gives an unwanted reactions. Sometimes it doesn't give a valid reaction for the water for giving the byproducts. And reverse osmosis method, which is very much familiar to everyone, where every industry, where every huge I can say the richest people will afford to reverse osmosis method, because it is a method where the concentration can be changed to higher to lower. And as well as I would like to highlight a point here where this reverse osmosis method is something which is very much expensive. And also this reverse osmosis method, it purifies the water to very much better extent, but the 75% or 50% of water will be getting wasted over it, reverse osmosis method. So our proposed solution for the ideation which we have is our solar water purifier. It contains some specific developments, and also it has some uniqueness into it. Like we are going to use ion exchange resins into our purifier. Where we are going to have UF filtrations, ceramic filtration, and ionic resins. UV filtration is flashed over flowing water, which helps to kill and stop growth of bacteria into the water. And ceramic filtration, it is a type of filtration which helps in removal or fine dust particles from the other larger foreign bodies. And in ionic exchange resins, in this stage, we remove calcium and magnesium ions from the water in exchange of harmless sodium ions. I would like to tell about like what exactly the ideation of ion exchange resin is used for the purification of water into our ideation is it is a undesirable ionic contaminants are removed from the water by exchange of ions with another non-objectional ions, and also it is very much efficient in removing toxic metals from the water. As of now, the community out there were facing so much of issues in terms of financial and also in terms of the resources that they don't have equally, so that they could use that resource and get a purified amount of water. So they rely on private sources for getting water, and due to some financial issues, they have to still spend the money for water. And the specification developments that we have used into our project as solar panels, PVC pipes, pump, carbon filter, UF filter, and also ion exchange resins. Along with that, we do have pump, battery, an inlet and an outlet, and along with that, a solar panel. This is the 3D model that we have made for with using an AutoCAD. The working of a solar water purifier is we keep this into the sunlight to change contaminated water into the fresh smelling, good tasting, and safe drinking water. There are many solar water purifiers into the market, and still they all work for a little differently. What they all do, however, is collected water is some kind of covered bin. As the sunlight raises the temperature of the water, and the water which is vaporized and also leaves the contaminants behind. The water goes through the condensation under the glass or plastic covers, and drop of water collects into a pure water canal. And this drops are then delivered into the clean bin, from which we can then drink a clean water. The innovation and uniqueness from our ideation is we are using ion exchange process in the purification of water, and ion exchange system consists of a tank containing small beds of synthetic resins. That beds are treated to selectively absorbs either cations, that is positive, or anions, that is negative, and either exchange it certain ion based on their relatively active compared to the resins. And the advantages that we have of this ion exchange process is the process can be used to soften highly acidic or alkaline waters. It produces water by very low hardness, so it is very good for treating water for us in high pressure boilers. The scalability, as I have told that the community people out there in Basuraguda village, they have to rely on private water suppliers, and they have some due to the financial conditions, they couldn't directly rely into this other sources that can provide them a clean and purified amount of water, which is very good for health. They couldn't rely on that. So for that issue, they are in our survey in the Basuraguda village, we have found that each family spent ₹15 per 25 liters of water. So per day expenditure per family is 15 rupees, and net expenditure for entire village per day is going to be 750 rupees, and per month net expenditure for entire village is being 22,500 rupees. And the main challenges which we face during the innovation of our idea is maintain an ion exchange unit, also includes stocking at the salt supply. It is crucial to monitor the treated water for these contaminants to verify that the unit is working properly. If tested, shows the contaminants concentration exists an acceptable level or not. And also along with that, these ion exchange elements into the ion exchange of ion resins, the method which we are using is it lowers the water pH, and along with that it can make the treated water more corrosive. It may be necessary to follow the ion exchange unit with a proper neutralization system if the treated water is distributed through metal pumping and also used as drinking water for ruminants animals. And along with that, iron and turbidity may foul ion exchange unit. So pre-treatment to remove these contaminants may be necessary in our solar water purifier. And as well as we have also faced a challenge where we use caution while disposing of the waste brine during the regeneration. The brine contains removed by the exchange resins. The contaminants may re-enter groundwater or surface water or the supply which we give to the solar water purifier. The brine is deposited onto the ground into a leaching pit or into a specific system. These were the basic and these were the challenges that we were facing during the innovation of our solar water purifier. And along with this, we have advantages, as I have told and mentioned before. It has no contamination. It has a great taste. It has no foul smell into the water, and it is very much less cost. And the main compromises that we have done during the innovation is from the undergraduate students, as we from our perspective, we need to expensive there are so many expensive chemicals which make into a bit expensive. If the water contains turbidity, then the output of process is being reduced. As I've told you, and I given an example of reverse osmosis, the turbidity must be below of 10 ppm. If it is more, it has to be removed by coagulation or then by filtration. The value proposition and the amount or the budget of our project is generator, which costs of 500 rupees, and solar panel of 2,500, the ceramic filters of 1,500, UV filters of 3,000, ionization resins of 3,000, safety circuit of 1,000 rupees, and a battery of 500, and the pipes of 100, and the total estimated cost at a ground of solar water purifier is 12,000 rupees. The target and beneficiaries and out their customers is, by building soda water purifier, we can empower families in Basuraguda village so that they don't rely on private water suppliers. Doing so, they can just cut extra expenditure spent on buying the water every day. This project is also chosen for their global relevance. The social marketing and impact that we have in solar water purifier, as it is perfectly low cost startup water bottling business, and that doesn't require a high capital outlay. And also as the National Solar Mission, a greater initiative of the government of India and state governments to promote ecologically sustainable growth while addressing India's energy security challenge, according to the mission, solar power as a resource could find the greatest usage in decentralized and also off-grid applications. As grid presentation is neither feasible nor cost-effective, solar panel applications are cost-effective. The mission could consider up to 30% of capital subsidiary for promoting innovative applications for solar energy, and would structure a non-disordering framework to support entrepreneurship, upscaling, and innovation. Team members that we have worked for the ideation of a project in waste water resources is they are from multidisciplinary departments. Me, Shiba Shaista, I'm the lead of solar water purifier, and I belongs to I'm an undergraduate student in the field of computer science engineering at Hyderabad Institute of Technology and Management. And my fellow mates, Mohammad Sohail, he's a undergraduate in the field of electronics and communication engineering. Gangavarapu Ramya, she is also an undergraduate in the field of electronics and communication engineering. And Deepthi, she is a undergraduate student in the computer science engineering AIML, in the specialization of AIML. And Pavni, she is also an undergraduate student in the field of computer science engineering in the field of AIML. Thank you.
Thank you, Shiba, for good presentation. Any questions by anybody else? Dr. Vivek?
May I ask, sir, if you permit, kindly permit?
It's all yours, doctor. You are the main jury.
Saista,
Yes,
hi, thank you for the great presentation you had. I have two questions for you, right? So the very first would be based on the cost of the equipment that you showed, around 12,000, right?
yes, sir.
How many liters of water you were able to purify? The very first thing. The second question would be, the main, the key component of your purification would be solar, right? So what is the reliability of it? For how many months a year these equipment can work? Yes.
Sir, as per the first question that you have, sorry, sir, I didn't get you the first question. Can you just repeat it again?
Yeah, I asked based on the equipment that you showed, that solar panel would cost around this much, the entire of the setup would cost 12,000 rupees. So I'm asking, out of this entire setup, how many liters of water per day can be purified and used?
Okay, sir, as the Basuraguda village has we have calculated and we had a survey. So there we came to know that as per now the ideation and the expected cost of each and every material into the solar water purifier, that the idea inbuilt says that this purifier can purify at least up to 50 to 70 liters, I guess, because this is just an expectational cost and expectational criteria. As we work further, as we are going to implement this in the Basuraguda village, so there it can get the further drawbacks, because this is a project which this is our 5th project from our institution and our chapter body. We have already 4 projects have done, and this, due to COVID, we have stuck in between this semester. So after being into the college and being offline, everything, this element will be implemented over there, and we will make sure that this is the cost for 50 to 70 liters, I guess. We will be working more with the implementation part, and then we'll be getting to know like what exactly the purifier at what limit it can purify.
And I asked about the reliability, because I don't think the solar panel would work well when the winters are there, right? The second thing, I want to ask is, you are not going to feed the water directly from these ponds or the river, as you said, directly to the solar, heaters. So you will have certain screens installed to remove the screen, then you might have certain grids there. So how you are going to address the issue?
Yes, sir. As we are going to use some filters in between the solar water purifier, so there will be a person assigned for the whole plant, where it doesn't need any technology, or it doesn't need any learning or a tutorial guide for the resource person, or he can just, it is very much complicated. No, not exactly that. We are not making this solar water purifier so complex in the village people to understand it, basic logistics. So it could be more helpful and beneficial, because there are only a few filter stages, as I've shown in 3D model design, that we have these filters, like it can be placed in between and it can be removed through hand. And if there are any due to the contamination and purification process, all the bacteria and the contaminants like dust, particles, and the contaminants after boiling, it can be segmented at the down. So the resource person can just remove the filter from that tank. They can clean and just keep it over back.
See, I worked with water purification agency for like 2 years. I think more than getting the water purified once it enters your system, getting it reached there would be more costlier. Like I hope the pictures you showed initially were of the same stream that you are talking about. So removing all this impurity out and feeding it to its system would cost much, much more than what you are putting it up. Anyway, I would say it's a good inception, but you need to work on it, like on scalability and applicability of it. Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, Dr. Vivek. Shiva, I have a question to you.
Yes, sir.
I think there's the same question which Dr. Vivek had asked, and you answered that it could be between 50 to 70 liters. But you didn't mention that whether there'd be 50 to 70 liters of water will be doing it in 1 minute, 1 hour, 1 day, or 1 week. So that's very important.
Yes, sir.
Isn't it?
Yes, sir.
That is one question. That's my first question. My second question is, he also has put up the same thing, that bringing the water to that level, what you call, the ponds which you are shown, which is littered with almost every kind of garbage. Unless and until those things are removed, I don't think you can fit that into the pump before it can be put into the other equipment on the system. My third question is, you have talked about solar, you named it as solar water purifier. But if you look at it, see the carbon purifier, the ultraviolet filter and ion exchange, these are the standards which are even used today as a technology. So what is your contribution as such? You're only, I think from your perspective, the only thing what you're adding on is, instead of a pump running on direct electricity, in your case, the pump will be running by a solar panel. I don't think there's any other thing which you are added onto this innovation, which can be considered as very good.
Sir, when compared to the RO and the other technologies are been there, this
Yeah.
ion exchange process.
Yes, go ahead.
Yeah, this ion exchange process is something that it doesn't waste water and it will purify the water at the extent that it is fit for drinking. And when compared to 50 and the 70 liters of water, as it is just an assumption, because the time period of the purification of water, we didn't have any research done on this particular criteria.
So this is still on the paper, if I understand you correctly.
Yes, sir.
So when do you plan to make
After
it a
the
working model?
This actually, sir, there were 5 projects working from our institution, so we
Okay.
have completed 4 of them. This is our 5th project, and that too in the previous semester we have worked on it and it is totally done. And this is a project that we are in a initial stage, like the things are being again online now, so it is being so difficult for us for getting things arranged into the offline mode. So after then and there, when this corona picture will be taken to an end, we'll start with this project, sir.
Okay. Thank you, Shema. Thank you very much for your presentation.
Thank you
I
so much, sir.
presume that there is no more questions. Am I right? Anybody else? Thank you, Shiva, once again. And now I call upon Hirani Ramakrishna, another third-year student from Sairam Institute of Technology, Chennai. She's going to talk about irrigation using the sensor technology. So, Hirani, it's all yours. Are you there?
Can you hear me, sir?
Yeah, we can. Please go ahead.
Can I present my PPT?
Yes, you're there only for that.
Okay, sir.
For making the presentation.
So good afternoon to jury members and everyone present here. My name is Harini. I'm from Chennai, Tamil Nadu, Southern India. Thank you, Madan sir, for the introduction. And my idea is about irrigation using sensors. So basically, my family is from Tanjore, in which farming is the predominant work done by people. So my idea basically revolves around water resources on field, but not exactly watering on plants, but how water can be given to plants efficiently. Because important water resource use is to save water from unnecessary usage, as every water droplets counts. In rainy days, waters can be saved instead of stagnating in fields from this idea. So so crops has to be given right amount of water for its growth and also for its sufficient yield. I came up with this idea, concluding up with collaborating sensors with irrigational motors. Generally, irrigations are followed in many ways, such as micro sprinkler, drip, hose, center pivot irrigations in India. They are done by manual operation of motor, and application of pesticides and insecticides needs more care when applied to crops through water, because many kinds of insecticides and pesticides are more, if it is gone into a more amount of quantity, then it can harm plants in a other way. So it has to be given in the right amount when it is given through water. Every crops that grows needs proper factors for its mature growth, like temperature, right amount of water, and some sunlight for proper photosynthesis to occur in it. Likewise, turmeric plants needs water once in a month or twice depending upon its moisture content. But cranberry, as we know, needs more water comparatively, as it dries often because of the nature or climate. So for this, farmers cannot be looking for weather when the climate is dry and temperature is high. The monitoring can create great impact rather than manual prediction by farmers. Behind these, so analyzing all these factors, we can actually set temperature sensor that can sense surrounding temperature in accordance with light sensor that is used to monitor how much light does plants get from sun. Behind these two sensors, that is humidity sensor and moisture monitor in plants. Humidity sensor looks through moisture content in air, and the hero is the moisture sensor that has cautious role, cause excess moisture content can invade microorganisms. So all these sensors on the whole creates a different irrigational motor. According with these sensors, irrigation is done on time without leaving the plants to dry. The humidity rate or weather changes or amount of water to be given or absorbed over a period of time, and these are taken as database and fed into monitor that has irrigation work easy and in regular time intervals. So I have shown a simple circuit of water electric motor in which I have an idea of adding additional components that can be added in line with the circuit, or making some changes in the electric motors, or adding the components additional to the making additional component with the electric motor. So first I thought of this idea setting up with sprinkler irrigation. For example, sprinkler, if it is going to be sprinkler irrigation, it is only decided of amount of water is used, and remaining water can be stored for future use, and that water scarcity can be saved, can be reduced from becoming more. This might be first, as I said, I thought of this idea setting up with sprinkler irrigation, but then I revised it to fit in line with motor as another compartment without having any disturbance of electric motor heat, temperature, and vibration. This might be revolution among agro industries and great help for farmers. Yields can be increased significantly. Manual field work can be reduced. Irrigation will happen on time according to weather, even if it is extremely hot. Monitoring can create great impact rather than manual prediction. I would like to suggest, so target beneficiaries, and when it comes to target beneficiaries and value proposition, this idea widely covers for people who are associated with agriculture field work and farmers, as this project is like long-term investment. It can a particular motor or single motor can cost, now it costs up to 30,000. That is double phase motor can cost up to 30,000 per motor. But adding these sensors can also only increase the amount from 30 to 35,000 because it is a long-term investment. Excuse me. So I would like to suggest these type of motors can be given approximate to the price of the regular water motor. Sir?
Yeah, sorry, please.
Yeah, I would like to suggest these type of motors can be given approximate to the price of regular water motors, because only the sensors can be are added additional, so that the irrigation occurs on time without any wastage, that is wastage of water. And in the period of rainy seasons, no irrigation, no water is excessively used in the irrigation. So this is all about my idea. I would like to thank team for having me here and gave a chance to explain my idea. Thank you, sir.
Thank you, Hirani, for your presentation. It was nice. And I presume that this was more of an exercise in automation, where you do, take parameters from the soil on a real-time basis, and then operate the sprinkler so as to maintain the right amount of moisture in the soil. Yeah, am I right?
Yes, sir. Actually, the moisture in the soil is obviously taken to the plants. So I also added a moisture monitoring mission in the plants, so that it can calculate if the water is in the correct amount, or if it is in excess, or it is to be dry. So if with that assumption, with that actions, we can provide water in the regular intervals.
Okay, fine. Has this been implemented or not?
No, sir, it has not been
It is-
implemented. This is my own idea.
Okay,
I have
it is-
thought of.
It is still on the drawing board.
Yes, sir.
Okay,
As my family is from the farmer's family, I just thought of creating something different in the farming or agriculture. It doesn't applicable for only paddies or fruits. It can also be done for flowers, any kind of crops it may be.
right. Thank you. Dr. Vivek, please, if you have any questions. Hello.
And actually, sir, I just thought this project for doing as a mini project, as it is again an online option we couldn't implement. If I get to collect the data sets of how the moisture of the plants will vary from crop to crop, and how the weather for a crop is very important. If a paddy needs sunlight and more than that windy weather or rainy season, so like that I would like to collect more data sets, and I could implement this.
Yeah. Asif, I don't hear you. Where are you?
I'm here, sir. I'm here.
Yeah, any questions from you, Asif?
No, I'm okay. I listened to her, and I think she had a great presentation. The only thing that would be like it is yet to be implemented. So conceptually it's good, but how it will be implemented needs to be looked into.
Sure, sir. I would love to.
Proper-
I would like to implement in the future upcoming days.
Professor Vivek? Okay, now we come to the last presentation. It is by Debya Kumari. She is also a third-year student of Institute of Technology and Management, Hyderabad. She's going to talk about an algae scrubber. Am I right?
Yes, sir.
So please, it's all yours.
Is my screen visible?
Yes, it is.
Just a sec. Good afternoon to one and all present here, respected chairperson, speaker, ma'am, jury members, and all my fellow innovators. As we all know that despite the growth rate in this 21st century, 785 million people are still not getting clean water. At one side, we talk that we want to do things in emerging technologies, but at the same time, clean water for all is still one among the sustainable goals. And our project, Algae Scrubber, is about that. Myself, Debya Kumari, and my teammates are Ramya, Pujita, and Yuvraj from Hyderabad Institute of Technology and Management. Clean and accessible water for all is one among the important sustainable development goals. And initially, we found this problem in the pond of our college. We did the case study and we found that algae gets accumulated on the surface, creating a lot of problems. At one side, if we talk about the solid waste, such as plastic cans, plastic packets, all those things can be taken out of river body with the help of solar pool skimmer or anything. But when we talk about algae, there is no such effective measure which takes it out and which is also used fruitfully, which we'll be seeing in further presentation. As you can see, that due to heavy formation of algae, less oxygen supply is given to aquatic animals. And at the case, the oxygen supply is completely hindered and it leads to their death. In the sense, after a period of considering a fortnight or twice, the algae will be accumulated and it will become so thick that it will restrict the water, the oxygen from the water surface. And another problem is cleaning of the algae. As you can see that workers have to spend their hours and hours, and cleaning it is still a Herculean task. Now coming to the already existing solutions, the first one is ultrasound bloom treatment. Now in this, sound waves will be working at a specific vibrational frequency, but disadvantage for this is it is very costly. Second one, turbo twist UV sterilizer. I'm sure that most of us have definitely seen it in aquariums and all, but its disadvantage is that it cannot be used to something as practical and as huge as a lake. Hence, to solve all these problems, we have Algae Scrubber. Now the project proposed. Algae Scrubber, it is a device that collects, that collects algae, and it will be cleaned out of the mesh using human labor. Now what this mesh is basically, it will be storing all the accumulated algae on this, and rather than going through the entire process, we just have to scrape it out at the end. Now how it will be reaching? Water will be flowing towards the mesh using PVC pipes. And next thing is an LED will be inserted to increase the growth rate of algae and a suitable environment for it to grow. Now we know that to grow algae, basically we need sunlight and we need nutrients. So in daylight we'll be having sun. But for the night time, we are facilitating the growth, which means we are catalyzing it so that we are having more algae than what it was supposed to be happening in a natural way. Now coming to power supply will be given using a solar panel. Now we are having two advantages of solar panel. First, it can be used at remote locations. We don't have to get worried about electrical transmission lines. Hello? Yeah, we don't have to worry about transmission lines. And second is that it can be used as remote places, and it's also eco-friendly. Now next thing is, once the Harini, can you please go on mute? We'll have question answer at the end. Now once the algae formation starts, its growth is monitored using algae. Now as I said that in this 21st century of Algae Scrubber, I believe the best thing which we as engineering students we can do is using the emerging technologies to solve the ground level problems. Now consider a situation in this, the person responsible for cleaning that lake is out and he or she lives very, very far. So what this sensor will do, once the algae has reached up to a saturation level, a message or a kind of notification will be sent to the person's mobile using IoT. And for students, there are a lot of open platforms such as Microsoft Azure or anything which we can use. So now what the owner has to do, he or she just needs to clean the mesh which is scraping out all the algae. And in this way, human effort is also saved. And another advantage of our project is that it can be used in rural and urban areas both, because clean water is problem in both the cases. Of course, in cities we have industries, but when we talk about villages, we have cattle. But at the end of the day, it's about collecting the waste. It's giving humans what they want, that is clean water. Coming to the stakeholder, as I said that the groundwork, that is knowing about things, all started at our college. He is Mr. Boomaya. He is the person who was in charge of cleaning that lake. And we got to know what all are the problems by after having an interview from him. Next is, we have also cited the decision matrix. In the sense, we did brainstorming session with our team, and we found that the project currently on which we are doing, in the way it is being implemented, we are having it will be efficient, and the materials we are using, it will help us to endure it for a long period of time, that is sustainable. Now, coming to the specifications required, we would need 300 to 500 watt of motor. Next, PVC pipes, plastic canvas, hole saw, Dremel, zip ties, LED and solar panel. In this, motor and PVC are the variables which will be varying depending upon the size of lake and our prototype. Coming to Dremel and zip ties, we are hoping that when we partner with any firm, these are the tools which can be just taken on rent. So it will also reduce the price which we will initially need. And as you all can see this project, in this the blue part is showing water. It is a prototype which initially we made for the idea phase at our college. And these green patches, they depict algae. Now what is happening with the help of motor and pump, through the PVC pipes, water is flowing. And by the time water is coming out of the mesh, this repeated process is making the algae stuck onto that. And one LED will be pointed at the top, which will be facilitating its growth at night time. Now coming to the business plan. So as I said, first part will be done at our college Hitam at a small pond, and prototype 2. Once we are done with that, we'll be implementing it Arkepuram Lake, which is a semi-urban area in Telangana. And number 3 product, which can be converted from static to movable as per density of water. The final thing is something which can be given to the government officials or private firms to make it implement using all these sort of emerging technologies. Now there are 2 advantages of our project. First is, let's say we have done with the model, so we can rent it to any place and we can take money from them. And second thing is the collected algae, it can be again sold to various industries such as beauty, cosmetics, as well as different uses are there. So in this way, we are also monetizing our project, and the money which we are getting, it can again be used for R&D as per market needs. And as you all can see, here are the advantages. It removes excess nutrients and that can be used further through extraction process. It also purifies the water and reduce the amount of annoying algae. So with this way, we are cleaning the water. At the same time, we are also helping the aquatic animals. And since there won't be any algae, there won't be any problem in breathing. I'm sorry, I'm at 8 minutes. I'll try to wrap it up. Also, this project is eco-friendly. And this project is eco-friendly. As you can see that there is no disposal of harmful chemicals in the water body or somewhere. And next thing is, it can be used in industries. The proteins which people take as dietary supplement, many of them are also given by algae after going through a rigorous process. So that selling it will, this process will be done by industries. Once as students, we are able to sell it to them or the firms. Now this project, we have first taken it to our college where we got the best in idea design thinking process, and second is Intinta Innovator. We were selected for the state from our district level. It is an initiative by Government of Telangana, Intinta Innovators. Thank you, and open to questions and feedback.
Thank you, Divya Kumari. That was a good presentation on the Algae Scrubber. Any questions from anybody? From the jury?
Yes, Dr.
Asif, yes.
I should begin with saying this is such an impressive presentation that I have seen, and with coming days and because of the indiscriminate use of fertilizers, eutrophication is very common problem in villages. I have seen lots and lots of ponds. I mean, the aquatic life of it got troubled only because of the algae that has covered up. One question that I would like to ask is, I mean, you said that these algae that you are extracting from the ponds, they can be sold to other industries for which are making beauty products and all. I mean, how reliable it would be, because along with other nutrients, there are a lot of toxic substances that these algae might absorb too. So how will you address problems related to toxicity in the algae due to certain chemical there in the pond? How will you address that?
Yes, sir, definitely. Sir, extraction of algae and our work with our project is we'll be extracting the algae and we will store it until we have a suitable amount to give it to the industries. And once it is given to the industries, they'll be segregating it, because algae and its extraction process for beauty product and protein supplement, it is already happening in those industries. So our project is to sell it in order to monetize and put it at R&D in the initial phases.
Thank you.
Divya, I have a question to you.
Sure, sir.
you said that the algae grows, and if you don't remove it, it causes a problem because it blocks all the oxygen flow into the water. Am I right?
Yes, sir.
But then what you are doing is that you are extracting the algae by pumping the water containing algae into the pipes where there are mesh, where they get stopped and the water only goes out there, right?
No, sir.
Huh?
I mean, can I?
Yeah, please.
Yes, sir. So the project we are implementing, it is not completely, and the lake is covered to the entire percent of algae, but it can also be used to grow it. In the sense, algae, once it is in motion, in clean water also it will be forming. So in this case, we are doing two things. One, we are cleaning the lake, definitely, as said by you, and others, we are also catalyzing its growth to collect it that way.
So my question is that only, why you want to make it grow more? Can it be done outside instead of doing it in the pipeline itself in the night by putting LEDs and all those things? But the whole idea is that the algae which is growing in the pond should be taken out, because if it is not taken out, it's harmful to the aquatic life out there. But making it grow inside the pipe and then taking it out for further use, can it not be done otherwise?
Yes, sir, it can definitely be done. Now, you would have noticed that we are using the concept of LED, which is to facilitate its growth. Now, it can be done as per our project. It can be done in the motion. And if we take an advance of it, there is something called photobioreactor, also part of algae bioreactor. In that, we are giving algae an artificial environment. And this is where our project is differentiating than the ones already available in market, because we are implementing LED to grow it. And as I said, it's again to monetize it. And it can also be used outside in a tank. But we are currently focusing it on from the basic, that is just growing it in that to make it further applied.
So what you're trying to do is that if you make it grow, it become more economically viable.
Yes, sir, definitely.
Okay, Divya, thank you very much for your presentation. Anybody else has any questions?
Yeah.
No? So I once again thank all the participants, the keynote speaker, Smita ji, the jury members, Professor Vivek, Dr. Kapil Kumar, Dr. Rawat, who unfortunately has to go out, and Asif Mustafa, who's my EC member. Thank you very much. I now hand it over to Gitanjali. Gitanjali, it's all yours. Gitanjali?
Narinder, I think Gitanjali would be busy for the next session. You may close the session.
Okay, so I think we have done with it, and I would request the jury members that whatever marking they have done it, evaluation, please send this evaluation sheet to IITDAA so that we can take further action on that. I once again thank all the participants, the jury members, and particularly Smita Chugh and the president, Dr. Kalpin Shukla, for their support for this. And let's hope so that out of these ideas, something will get commercialized and will benefit the rural folks here. Thank you very much. So we close the session here.